Today we have with us Sue Campbell again with Solterra Senior Living. How
Yes,
are you? And
great.
you brought a guest.
Yes, I did.
So tell us all about him.
This is John Ballard, and I've worked with you, referred your company for, several years, because there are times when, he's with Ballard Senior Home Care, and they are in-home non-medical care. So a lot of our potential residents are not quite ready to move to assisted living, but they still need some help in the home to stay safe, to enjoy their independence even longer. And so quite often I'll refer them to John. And why don't you tell us what you do for these folks?
Yeah, it's real simple. In our home care agency, we provide non-medical in-home services. And, roughly what that looks like is light housekeeping, anything to do with meals, running errands, grocery shopping, picking up mail, etc., transportation, and then all your personal services. So bathing, dressing, grooming, dealing with incontinence, and really what it is helping run the household.
Right.
That's our goal, and the purpose of that is to help people stay in the comfort of their homes, and to also make sure that they are minimizing risk and not doing the things on a daily basis that could potentially lead to other problems.
Right.
A fall.
Fall risks, doing things that might strain something, minimizing the things that are not going to allow them to stay at home.
Right.
And having some sort of injury there, and then just meeting their needs on a daily basis.
So maximizing the time they can stay in their home.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And people might say, well, why does Sue have someone next to her that wants to keep them in their homes? Well, what I will tell you is one, yes, we can prolong people's time at home and all of that, but I will also tell you when it's time for a facility, we'll be the first ones to tell you.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're there and you're able to monitor it, and you're outside of the process. Being a family member or being somebody that's related to the person you're taking care of, you start to become very myopic, so you kind of don't see the signs. Where you're sort of external, so you can go.
He's an advocate for them.
Right.
And I am too as well, and I want people to stay in their home as long as possible. I don't want anyone moving into Solterra and hating it. I want them to be ready and to want it and be ready for us to help them be independent in our assisted living community. So he's been a huge resource for me. I don't know how many times I've referred your folks. And
Same here.
And then some of those folks you've said, okay, Sue, give this family a call.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing is I've had people be like, oh man, like they have these needs, because once again, we provide only the non-medical side.
Right.
And so we're not nurses, we're not doctors, we're literally helping them do the things that they wouldn't be able to do for themselves. Right. But when it comes for a higher level of care, I've told people, hey, listen, like you ought begin to look at facilities. Right. Really? Well, why can't they just stay? Well, because their need, the level of care they need, is getting past what we can help with.
Yeah, like overnight, there's a lot of things that can happen. They get up in the middle of the night, maybe a little wobbly fall, and maybe his staff may not be there till the next afternoon or something.
Yeah.
And then they would be, really in trouble at that point.
What's refreshing to see, because here you see Solterra looking at it from a human aspect, not just a numbers of people in a building or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're not worried about somebody else having business, basically. It's about the care of the individual.
Right.
And quality.
Because we're
of
not
life.
about numbers, really.
Right.
And one thing I would say that is very prevalent is so many people, they wait too long to figure out how to meet their needs. I can't tell you how many people have called me and said, hey, me or my loved one fell and broke something last spring, and now looking back, I should have gotten help in my recovery at home. Yes, they did their PT. They did all their physical therapy that their doctor told them to, but then they walked around on that bad hip, knee, ankle, leg, whatever, used their shoulder, and then guess what? They're 6 months to a year down the road, and they're right back in the same spot they were, or worse, because now they've got to go get that surgery again. You know, and that's a very minimal example, but so many people don't realize there are resources to stretch out their longevity. And so many people
why
wait
do
too
you
long.
think it is? Maybe I know some of the folks from the greater generation. They're very independent.
Oh,
They don't
extremely.
want to admit that they need help.
Yeah.
They I don't know. It's not really pride. They grew up, you know, with the Depression, with World War II, with Korea, you know, Guadalcanal, with the ups and downs and technology and everything, and they're very independent. I don't know how else to say it. They don't want to admit they need help
No, it's a very common factor.
or pay for it. It is an issue.
Or you're accepting of where you're at,
Yes.
and you're used to it, and it's not like, you know, when something happens drastic and it's like you fall and boom.
Then you know.
Then you know. But when it goes over time and it's a little bit here and it's a little bit there.
And your family helps or your neighbors. Sometimes it's actually the neighbors or family that are calling me. I just can't help them anymore.
Right.
I have a life, I have kids, I have a job, and I'm over there 3-4 times a day.
My experience is it's a large majority of people, of a loved one, neighbor, family member, spouse calling saying they need help and they don't want it, but
Right.
they absolutely need it.
Yeah. It's so hard. It's really hard.
Okay. Contacts, way they get a hold of you, and how somebody connects to this resource.
It's real simple. We're pretty easy to find.
I'll give you this. You can put it in the
We'll put
link
this
below.
up. So number will be up and everything. That
Yeah.
helps. Click below.
So yeah, you can call us at 928-243-3094. That's our main line. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us online at ballardcare.com. That's B as in boy, ALLARD, care.com. And yeah, you can find us on basically any social media platform. Well, not TikTok, but Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, we're kind of pretty available to get a hold of in that sense. And once again, one thing I would say is if someone's needs are starting to change, I'll give 6 factors that you can look at to that are red flags. And they're called activities of daily living. And what those are is if you're having a trouble getting up and moving around the home, bathing, dressing, preparing meals and eating, remembering to take your medications, and what's number 6?
Communicating?
Or communicating. If any of those are an issue, that's a red flag. Start looking for resources. You know, that's what I would say.
Awesome.
Sue, anything else?
No. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you for having
Thank
me on. I
you.
appreciate it.
Well, thanks once again, Solterra Senior Living. Make sure you check them out and click the links below.